Hello, and welcome to the very first ever attempt at a podcast, or at least attempt at my podcast. I'm going to kind of try to work through an episode, see what it would sound like, kind of give you guys an idea of what I have planned for the podcast and for it coming up. This first one will probably be an audio file put straight onto Face or YouTube. Reason being, I haven't settled on a hosting deal yet, but I may try that. I may just go in tonight and go, hey, you know, let's give this a try. But I guess you need to know the name of the podcast. The name of the podcast is The Stuff I Like. Stuff I Like Podcast, TSIL, and the email for that is tsilcast@gmail.com, or you can always get me at author jperk, P-E-R-K, at gmail.com, or you can find the YouTube page J Perkins, or you can find author J Perkins on Facebook. So, I've been wanting to do a podcast forever. I've looked at it 1,000 different ways, and this is what I glean from everything I've read. In order to do a podcast and it be successful, it needs to be specific and pointed at one particular audience and goal, and have a consistency throughout the show and how the show's structured and what it's about. That's not going to work for me. I want to do podcasts about everything. So that's what I'm going to do, because I'm not doing this to be successful. I'm doing this because I think it'll be fun. So I'm going to structure it that way. I'm going to do whatever I want to do, when I want to do it, with who I want to do it with. So that's kind of more what this episode's really all it's going to be about. It's kind of breaking it down. But I still wanted to kind of give you some idea of a format of the show. We want to promote local people, promote local businesses, local artists, and it's going to be a big chunk of this show. We're going to have a lot of people on there. So I do have a sponsor for this very first pilot run podcast. The sponsor for tonight's show is Deathless Forge. Check them out on Facebook at Deathless Forge, or look at their Etsy shop, Deathless Forge. And I'm also going to promote a show that a local musician's got going on. A guy named Dustin Hoover from out of Floyd County. Unbelievable musician. Great live. Opened for a lot of people. Played a lot of shows solo. He also plays with a band, a cover band. Those guys, they get out and do some big shows. Done some big shows down in Lexington Way. They always play a lot of festival stuff around here, but his solo stuff is unreal. He's an unbelievable musician, and when you see him live, he's one of those guys you're going to go, okay, he's got everything it takes. Why has he not made it to the top yet? So definitely check him out. February 1st, he'll be at Fat Boys in Martin. February 2nd, he'll be at the Brick House in Prestonsburg. He and I done a kind of a combo deal there last year. I done a book signing, and he done a show there for him. That was 100% him. He brought me in on that, and very thankful for that. So don't forget to see Dustin Hoover, February 1st, Fat Boys, February 2nd at the Brick House in Prestonsburg. Good local music to get out and see. And again, tonight's sponsor is Deathless Forge. It's Deathless Forge on Facebook, Deathless Forge on Etsy. Okay, the way I'm looking at structuring this show out, you will not be stuck with it just being me having to listen to me talk all the time. I don't like shows that are structured that way, and to me, I couldn't listen to it long term. I kind of listened to one here and there, but I couldn't listen to it all the time. That'd be super boring. So, again, I'm not just going to have it set one way. I am going to have guests. I'm going to have a lot of local musicians and stuff. Dustin Hoover's already agreed to come on and do the podcast when I get it up and going. The owner of Deathless Forge, Brando, has agreed to come on and do some with me. He'll probably do the very first one with me when I do a full-on interview style format. That'll probably be with him. He's been very helpful in this process, kind of looking at some stuff with me and helping me out. Also, probably I'm going to have a lot of video elements that are just YouTube based for this thing, kind of like little mini TV episodes, and I want to do one of those with him with some of his forging stuff. So you know, I'm going to bring him in first. I'm going to bring Dustin Hoover in very early on. But there's a lot of other musicians and stuff I like to have an artist, authors, anybody that does anything locally, and get me your information. We'll promote and help you get out. That we can build a very large network of people, not necessarily artists, business owners, entrepreneurial people. If as long as it's your own business and it's local, get it to me. We'll get it out. You can you can email it to Author J Perk, or you can send it directly to the show at tsilcast@gmail.com. The Stuff I Like podcast. And I named it that because I'm going to talk about the stuff I like. I'm going to talk a lot about music, and like I said, I want to have a lot of guests. But there's also going to be a lot of panel shows. And what I mean by a panel show will be me and a group of people. And I can give you two examples of that right off the top of my head. Two of my biggest inspirations for wanting to do a podcast is wanting to do a podcast with a group of my friends, Josh, Jeremy, and Joey, known amongst ourselves and to no one else as the other Four Horsemen. And that would be a very fun podcast, mainly 80s and 90s focused, as far as pop culture stuff, music, movies, comedies, cartoons, toys, wrestling, around that. And then once you start organically from those things we know we love, we'll go out. Probably a lot of those will be list-oriented shows, formatted like top 3 albums from this decade, top 3 shows from this, top 3 movies from then, top 3 this, and have numerous lists throughout the show and sit and discuss them. And why that was a format we had thought about for a podcast in the past with them, and this affords me the opportunity to do that with them anytime they're willing to do it. And then when they, they don't may not want to do this as often as I do. So if they don't, this gives me the opportunity to get out and do other things and bring other people in. Another thing I'd like to do panel wise would be myself and 2 guys I train with. One of them had mentioned this idea to me in the past, Ryan Bryant, and him want to do a podcast and mention myself and him and a gentleman named Michael Sturgill doing one together. So I think that would be good. Talk about martial arts. Coach Ryan is, he's had some MMA fights. He's an excellent jiu-jitsu practitioner. He's a coach at our gym, Chain Reaction MMA and Hazard, or Chain Reaction and Hazard, and we're under Reaction out of Lexington under Professor Rob Nickerson. And he's a purple belt there and a great coach and a great guy. And then Michael Sturgill, another great martial artist who trains there with us. He's a blue belt there. A very, very active coach with the kids' class. A very good coach. Third degree black belt in Shaolin Do. I'm currently training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with these guys, and I'm a former practitioner of Shaolin Do, something I'm hoping to get back into. So have a lot in common with these guys, and be able to sit down and do martial arts based discussions will be fun. And then again, those things organically will lead to whatever they lead to. But that kind of gives you an idea of it's a hodgepodge. Like, I didn't want to just focus on one thing. I didn't want to do just one thing. I keep getting told this is what I need to do. But you can ask my wife, my mother, most of my teachers, anybody else that ever met me. I'm not real good at doing what I need to do. I like to do what I want to do. And I'm not a philosopher, but the way I look at life and the way, I've lived my life up to this point, I hit a change in the last month or so, and it's time to do those things that I really want to do. And I think everybody should. I think you should get out, do those things that you want to do, and try to figure out what it is you do want to do. And I want to talk. I enjoy talking. I will use this to shamelessly plug my books and whatever else I have going on at the time. I just recently done a speaking engagement at Knott County Central High School. It's the first one I've done in a little while. I really enjoy those, especially speaking to students. That one was fun because that's where I went to school, so that meant a lot to me. But all my books are available on Amazon.com. It's Co Kingdom. It's available on Amazon. The one I wrote with my son, Ryder, everyone is different just like me, and expect probably a podcast between me and Ryder. I think me and him will do one. I think he'll like that. An episode just me and him. The Boy of Super Hearing, it's on Amazon. All three of those are on Amazon. All three of those are available for free shipping with Amazon Prime. All three of those are on sale for $6 right now. So that's, I guess I'm sponsoring some of the first show too. I'm out all the cash that this first show's costing, which is absolutely nothing. That's the beauty of the modern world we live in. I also want to mention a little thing I'm trying to put together. I've got some meetings coming up next week. I want you guys to kind of be looking out for. I mentioned on the YouTube page earlier. It's called the Cofields Literary Celebration. It's an event I'm trying to plan for spring in Knott County to get together local artists or authors. Local authors, and have an event for them and allow them to kind of get the word out about their books, whatever they're doing at the time. There's a video on the YouTube page on Jay Perkins where I went really into depth on it, so I'm not going to go really into depth on it right now. I don't really think there's any point in that. I'm bad to really want to talk, and I'm going to try to keep this one short tonight. It's going to be the first one, but as far as structuring on time, different people like different things. Some people like 15-minute podcasts. Some people like 30-minute podcasts. Some people like hour podcasts. I like long-form discussion, 3-4 hour podcasts. You're going to get a little bit of everything on this. There's going to be times when I can give you a 10-15-minute podcast. They're going to be more like my videos I do. But you're going to see a lot more of those videos than you are 10-15-minute podcasts of just me alone talking. I like doing the video element a little better sometimes when it comes to those, but I will hammer those out from time to time. Just give you a little quick 10-15-minute one talking about whatever the case may be. And that'll be me by myself, and those will be fillers. Weeks when I don't have a guest or weeks when I don't have somebody to do it with. But, kind of keep that in mind that's possible, that we'll be moving in that direction somewhat as we go forward. But there will be some of those 3-4 hour ones. I would keep this completely on YouTube if it were a little more convenient, and I'd like to have some feedback on that. I plan on doing some hosting with this to get this on a good site and put some money into hosting for this. And if the response is there and people seek it out and people listen to it, then that's worthwhile. It is a little easier to keep it condensed onto YouTube and stuff. The problem with YouTube is you can't, you can't download it and listen to it later, or download it just as audio like you can with podcast off of iTunes. So we are going to put them up on iTunes. I'm going to put them up on iTunes. Get it out there in that way, but still stay with the YouTube channel. I'm torn. I'm going to be honest with you. There is a channel out there. I've already got a channel made for this on YouTube, but I don't know if I'm going to keep it on the Jay Perkins channel or give it its own channel, or down the road maybe kind of ease it off. But as of right now, I'm going to use the Jay Perkins to get it initially started. I don't have a ton of subscribers, don't have very many at all, but it gets a lot of hits through the Facebook page, through author Jay Perkins, so that helps. Gives me the ability to kind of use a pre-existing audience to help get this going. But I got a ton of positive response about doing one of these, and if that's the case, if people are really interested in it, I need people to let me know. I need it to get shared. I need to get liked. I need to get follows on it, because that's not an ego thing, and that's not a me making any money off of it, because I'm not. It's why do this and put the work I'm getting ready to put into all this, if nobody's really interested. And you can't help if you're not interested. But if you are interested, definitely give me feedback. Definitely let me know how you feel about it, because I did get a lot of positive feedback. I got a buddy named Brian Martin that mentioned wanting to come on and do some stuff. That was a ranked state wrestler, I believe, in Indiana at one point in time. Great martial artist, good guy, but he's a wrestling fan. He likes things I like. a lot of friends that are musicians that have expressed wanting to come on and do things. I really want to be able to get these local artists and stuff on here and give them a platform, give them something that they can get the word out about what they're doing. That's whether it's painting, sculpting, tattoo work, no matter what it is. Eh, you know, everybody needs that platform, and I'd like to get this to a point where it's big enough that I can give people that platform. That is a goal of mine. But a lot of people did reach out, and I'd like to go back and reconnect with a lot of childhood friends, a lot of people. Got a buddy named Lance. He and I have had a lot of the same interest, as we, we're growing up together. I'd kind of like to get a show, an episode or two in with him. He's a very good artist, comic artist, does a lot of different things, and kind of get that, you get that rapport that you've already got with somebody, and it goes a long way. But I'm open to almost any type of guest or having anybody on here. You're not going to hear a lot of political stuff off there. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not a political guy, and that's surprising probably to people that know me very well but haven't talked to me a whole lot, say in the last year or two. I'm not a political person at all. So I'm not even going to take the time to sit and elaborate on that. It is what it is. I'm just not. That's not what this is. You can get that anywhere. It's 24-hour day news cycle. I quit watching that a long time ago, but I'm told it's still very much there. So, if that's what you're wanting, that's accessible almost anywhere. You're just not going to find it here. I don't mind to talk common sense things, economic things, policy things of that nature. I just don't want to make it a soapbox for one party or the other. If I were going to do that, I'd make it a soapbox for a moderate party because I'm a moderate person. There's a friend of mine. I was speaking to her the other day, and her husband, who I know pretty well, is kind of interested in doing a podcast that is focused on a more centrist thing. Now, that you may get occasionally, discussions, economic discussions, or discussions about certain areas or times or events that have happened. You may get that. If you've ever listened to Dan Carlson and his histories, I love those podcasts. You're not going to get a 5-hour podcast on the Ottoman Empire. I'm not going to put time into research that he did. But you could get some historical stuff. I don't know. I don't know what you're going to get. You're going to get all the stuff I like. That's the the whole purpose in general of naming it the Stuff I Like podcast is to put the stuff I like in it. It's not a real creative name, so I'm not going to be real creative with what's in there. It's going to be a variety of stuff that I like. I could sit down and pick a topic right now and go for the next hour and a half, but I'd like for somebody to listen to this first one, so we'll try to keep it under 30 minutes. That way, occasionally, it will get listened to it. And all those people that listen to that big marathon explanation on the book, the Co-Kingdom book, I took it from concept to fruition. I didn't go super in depth, but there's still like a 32-minute video in between the Facebook views and the YouTube views. I was very, very pleased. I was very surprised, but I was very, very pleased with that. Because it meant a lot to me. I really wanted to sit down and talk about that and get it out. But, along with this podcast, I'm looking at doing a lot of video stuff. That would be the goal. I'm not a tech-savvy person, and I'm not great at these things, so just going to see where it's going to go and how it's going to work out. But, I think that I can, especially once we get the guests coming in and the show format is realized, I really think I can make it somewhat enjoyable to where you won't hate listening to it. So just keep me in mind, and definitely, if you listen to this, take the time to go through it, like it, comment on it, share it, follow the YouTube channel, because more than likely I'll do lead-up videos before I shoot. Tonight I shot a video showing this bare bone setup, what I started out with. and it'll be on YouTube as well, kind of giving you a look at, okay, this is what I'm working with. Do you see something that I could change and do better, or whatever the case may be. That's currently where I'm at. I'm looking at trying to do that and get it honed in and try to get this right. I'm doing all the audio recording on Audacity, and then to transfer it to YouTube, I'm using Filmora. So basically, what I do is, you heard the introduction at the beginning of the show. That music will play. I will come in with a recording. I've tried 3 different mics that I already had. I mean, these are very cheap, bottom of the run mics. I've got my eye on a couple different things. I was able to look at an interface a guy had tonight, so I'm looking at different things. But to get me off the ground and see where the initial interest is, I'm going bare bones with this, and I've done this episode for the most part. This is about the 4th time. One of these versions of it has been an hour long. There's been a 30-minute, 40-minute, and then whatever this one ends up being. But I've tried different mics, and the playback would sound okay as far as before I processed all the audio and moved it around, and then the playback was horrible. I'm going no mic. This is built in. This is what's built into my laptop, into my HP. So that's what I'm running right now, and kind of see where that goes. I think that I'm 50-50 maybe on using. Well, we don't have to get into technical talk about what I'm going to do as far as microphones and stuff like that go, but it is a very new thing to me to try to I don't know, start from scratch on something like a podcast that I have no technical skills on whatsoever. And it's really rough to do the same episode for the 4th time. It's been different every time because nothing's scripted out. It's all off the top of my head, just talking, which is obvious. It's nothing spectacular, but that flows very good the first time. Anybody that's seen me do speaking engagements live to multiple groups, that first group, I feel really good about when I'm done with it. And if I'm able to just repeat that, or if I have to kind of just repeat that, the quality goes down. The day goes on. I like to get one big group at a time if I can do that, because I don't write out speeches or lecturing type of things. When I go speak somewhere, I just go and speak. And to me, it makes it more organic. It makes it fun. Makes it what it needs to be. So, a couple things before I get off here. First, I want to mention, again, this is first show. This is not what the format's going to be all the time. It's not going to be me by myself all the time. The few times it is me by myself, it's probably going to be more of a directed show with a purpose and a topic, a central topic, something talked about. It will be me and guest 90% of the time. 2 things that I want you to keep in mind is, I've got to know people are taking the time to listen to this and that you're interested in it, and I've got to know if you're not. Like, if it doesn't sound like something you want to listen to, then that's good. I need to know that, because I need to know what direction to steer this. I'm not up on Instagram yet. I have fought the Instagram thing for so long, but it's going to be a necessity, I believe, for this. Probably get much more benefit out of the Instagram than I will the Facebook, but I enjoy the Facebook. So what I want to do is, I want to close out with some information that I need to get out to everybody. Again, if you don't care If you're on the YouTube page right now, Jay Perkins, check out the video on the Coalfields Literary Celebration, where I kind of break that down. Give me some comments on that. Like, subscribe, and follow the page. Share it. Share this video. Any video on there you like, share it. The Facebook page is Author Jay Perkins. If you like what you're seeing, you like these things, and you're a member of this group for the YouTube page, bring people in, invite people, get people in there, get people to my Facebook page. Get people there and that you don't see on it or that you know that you think may enjoy it, and that helps. It helps get those numbers up. If you want to email with anything, if you're a local artist, want me to help you with getting some information or stuff like that out, it's TSIL Cast, TSIL Cast at gmail.com, or authorjperk, PERK at gmail.com, or message me on the Facebook page, whatever you want to do there. Again, I only have 2 announcements for the night, but I was very excited to get the sponsor for the first show, and I seen these dates coming up for a musician I like, so I just threw them in. So the sponsor, again, I really want to thank Deathless Forge. It's Deathless Forge on Facebook and Deathless Forge on Etsy. Top-notch products. It's a blacksmithing company. The coolest logos and packaging I've ever seen. Amazing knives. He does some wonderful stuff. Drawer pulls and cabinet door things and stuff with a Rubik's twist. It's ridiculous. His Marlin spikes are amazing. Just a great small local company that's getting very, very big. Check them out on Twitter as well. Getting really big on Twitter. I mean, they do great work and they're local. And if you have a local business and you want to be featured on here, get a hold of me. I'm not looking to hold you hostage and get a bunch of money out of you. Give me your information. Give me your stuff. Let's check you out. We'll get on here and help you and help get the word out about you. But I really, really appreciate Deathless Forge doing that tonight. Again, if you want to go see local music in February and you want to see good local music and you want to see a great local musician, go see Dustin Hoover. February 1st at Fat Boys, February 2nd at the Brick House in Prestonsburg. 2 great places if you're going to be out eating. Like, subscribe, do everything you're going to do with all these. If you're listening to this, and you know myself, Jeremy, JoJo, and Josh, and you look forward to that 4-man podcast about ridiculous things, give me some ideas on what you would like for that first episode with all those guys to be. What you'd like us to discuss. The Rambo series, the Goonies, a certain movie, a certain TV show, a certain era of wrestling, whatever it may be, pop culture wise from the 80s and 90s. And again, it may not be all those shows are about, but that'll be a starting point where they can go organically from there. But leave some of those messages, message me some of those, and let me know. But share this if you like this, if you think this is going to be something you're going to listen to, and stay posted. I will be doing probably, when this thing's ready to fully launch, there'll be a lot of videos coming out. And if I'm going to keep this under 30 minutes or right around 30 minutes, I got to quit soon. So thank you all for listening to the first one. If you made it all the way through this one, you are a champ. And if you're interested, like I said, like, share, message us, whatever you want to do. Thank you to Deathless Forge. Go see Dustin Hoover. And you guys have a good night.